Galileo once said that doubt was the beginning of discovery. That doubt is the beginning of discovery. Doubt is not necessarily a bad thing. It is not necessarily a negative, but rather what it is something that leads to curiosity, that leads to finding answers. Whenever I hear this gospel, I feel sorry for Thomas, because for the last 20 centuries, he's been branded with the name Doubting Thomas. And really, Thomas did all of us a favor, because Thomas really very much represents each one of us. He represents each one of us, and he was not afraid to doubt. He was not afraid to be able to question, because the beauty of his questioning led to the wonderment of seeing the healing that can take place only from Christ. So when Jesus appeared there, the first time Thomas wasn't there. We can't fault him for that. Really, when Thomas did show up in the second appearance there, we can't really say that Thomas was at fault. He wasn't there the first time. The first time that Jesus appeared, look, they were all afraid. They were doubters also, because they had spent 3 years with Jesus, yet they were all afraid. They did not have the courage, they did not have the strength to go and to preach the good news. They were fearful for their lives. Maybe they were fearful for what Jesus would do to them when he came back. Because after all, he had talked about rising from the dead. Why is it that they did not believe it? Why did they all doubt? And so really, when Jesus came back, he could have condemned all of them. He could have said, there's going to be a price to pay because you all abandoned me. But actually, Jesus did not do that. He gave the gift of forgiveness. He gave the gift of peace. When Jesus walked into that room and he said, "Peace be with you," that seems to be his greeting. It was a greeting of shalom. It wasn't just, be at peace, be calm. Rather, it was a gift of a wholeness and a completeness, because all that had been preached, all that had been anticipated, had now come to fruition. So really, a wholeness and a completeness came now to the disciples, to those who are closest with Jesus. And what does he give them for their first job to do? He says, go and give forgiveness. The sins that you forgive will be forgiven. The ones that you retain will be retained. What a beautiful message that the Lord gives to those that were there. To be forgiving people. To be people of great mercy. Not only to receive mercy from him, from God, but also to spread it. So today, as we celebrate Divine Mercy Sunday, it is a chance for us to relish in that mercy. I hope that during Lent, we preached about it enough that you took the opportunity to go to confession, that you had that chance to understand what God's mercy is all about, to be able to relish in God's gift of forgiveness. But what does it take for us to be people of mercy? What will it take for each one of us not just to be consumers of God's divine mercy, to receive it, but also to give it? Jesus told St. Faustina, she was a little Polish nun, very young, she was in her 20s, and she had appearances from the Lord. And in one of them, Jesus said that the world will not know peace until it can look trustfully to divine mercy. The world will not know peace till it can know and trust in God's mercy. And look at how much better a place the world would be. Just imagine for a moment if the world was filled with mercy. There would be no war. There would be no strife. There wouldn't be such horrific things as domestic violence that occurs. If there was peace, if there was a trust in that peace, we would live in a much more calmer kind of place. And it all links back to that gift of God's mercy. So today, as we celebrate mercy and forgiveness, in a moment we're going to baptize 2 children. At our baptism, God washed away our original sin. He gave us the gift of mercy, of kindness, of forgiveness, of peace. So if we cannot trust in it coming from our baptism, because just as he gave it to the apostles to go and to forgive, in that same way he's saying to us, I have forgiven you, now go and do the same. Who do we need to forgive today? Where do we need to show some mercy, kindness, and inevitably peace in a relationship in our own life? It can be maybe a new beginning for someone. Does not mean that we just wash away the past, because it comes with accountability. But what it means is that we have a potential dialogue for the future.